Afternoon evening to many of you. Thanks for hanging in there. I know it's end of the day for many of you. I'm excited to have the opportunity to present our unique technology, our EnerChip, to address low power needs of medtech, IoT, cold chain. There's been years of development investment, and this product is ready to go over the finish line. Next slide, please. Cymbet is the worldwide leader in solid-state thin film battery. We have manufacturing in place in Lubbock, Texas with XFAB. We have strong IP, patents, and trade secrets. The addressable markets are very, very large, and we think we have a very unique solution for the power requirement of these markets. Next slide. Our small size, I'm talking 2 by 2 millimeters, 400 to 10,000 devices on a 6-inch wafer. Our advantage over other solutions is our EnerChip can go through solder reflow, which facilitates high volume assembly. It's rechargeable thousands of times, zero cytotoxic, so it's great for medical, and easily integrated into other devices and makes the manufacturing of those solutions easily done. Next slide. So compared to conventional energy storage devices, you know, our size is a key thing, but also the lack of hazardous chemicals like you have with supercaps and coin cells. And obviously they have integration issues as well because they can't go through solder reflow. You have to have sockets and holders. Obviously there's transportation restrictions that may be prohibitive as well, but not with our EnerChip. So what is solid state? Why is it important? The electrolyte is a ceramic, not a liquid gel or polymer that you find in many lithium batteries. So therefore, solid state means safe, non-flammable. And that also means that it has a high charge and discharge cycle, which is great as well. The key for us is this high density or HD development for our EnerChip, where we, in the same size, we can increase the capacity by 2x and 4x. And by doing this, we can substantially expand the addressable markets. Next slide. There's a huge and big expanding markets for thin film batteries. The ubiquity of low power sensors fits well with the EnerChip. IoT, medtech, obviously with our biocompatibility, semi-passive RFID, and really a huge area for us that we think can be a huge, huge market is the cold chain, supply chain, and temperature monitoring. Next slide. Biomedical devices, we've been involved with a number of things in ophthalmics, neurostim, and again, it's the physical size, the integratability, and obviously zero cytotoxicity that allows for a number of these things. Now, obviously, biomedical takes longer to get any kind of revenue streams going, but we think that we've already engaged with some, and we think there's some long-term viability there. Next slide. A big game changer is the temperature monitoring solution, which is facilitated by our EnerChip. We can address billions of units in the cold chain, supply chain, due to the making of a low-cost tag. The key is an end-to-end continuous temperature monitoring and data logging, which is not occurring now. And by having this low-cost tag, we can obviously expand this into cartons, and rather than just on huge pallets. We can get this down to carton level, and we don't have to worry about what happens between warehouses and trucks and other distribution methods. It's flexible, disposable, rechargeable tag. So it's a very interesting proposition with a huge upside. Next slide. As I mentioned, we outsource to XFAB Texas, a worldwide well-known foundry. They have expertise in process, and that's what's really been important for us. Plus, we're in the US, and we think that allows us to protect our IP better. We also have a offshoot product, a real-time clock, power management chip that is also outsourced in terms of its manufacturing to a wafer fab. We have 46 patents in place, but the real value in that IP is the unregistered trade secrets and know-how that we've developed over years with a lot of investment. Next slide. So what we're doing is we're seeking $2 to $6 million. At the $2 million level, we get to get our HD development on a better track than it currently is. And at the 6 million level, that's when we integrate and work with a partner to design a sensor and data logging ASIC. And again, the huge market here would certainly justify a $6 million investment. The tag inlay is a smaller piece of that overall 6 million. But again, the key is this high density development. We get 2x and 4x the energy capacity in the same size battery. Next slide. Our team is very well experienced in technology and high technology. Jeff Sather's on the panel here with me, and he's certainly open to answering any questions. Jeff and Dr. Downey, who's on a lot of our patents, as well as Dr. Brogy, who's part of our team as well. They probably know more about solid-state thin film batteries than anybody else in the world. So with that, I'll open it for questions.
Awesome. Any questions for Monty?
Hi, this is your question. What is the energy capacity that you can hold this solid-state thin film battery?
Jeff, I'll let you handle the different sizes we have and what they mean in
Sure.
2x,
Yeah.
4x as well.
Yeah, so in the general range of our battery capacities measures in the tens of microamp hours. And what that means is that we're really structured these devices to be either the main or the backup power source for low power and ultra low power sensors, either as a one-time use battery or more often for a rechargeable version, whether that's for medical devices or small remote sensors that could be recharged with different energy harvesting techniques, for example. But with the trend in semiconductor chips toward lower and lower power consumption per unit function or per feature, we're actually seeing a nice convergence even at these very low battery capacities. And with our ability to put the battery most anywhere, literally, it really is playing well for these remote sensor applications.
I might add that just a 30 microamp hour battery can give 30 days to a low power sensor tag.
Dave, you have a question?
Yeah, so I'm a little confused about the 2x and the 4x energy density. Can you explain, is it one or is it the other, or is it you're hoping for 4x, but it'll probably be 2x?
Right, good question. So the 2x and 4x is, I think, obviously relative to our current legacy products. The 2x is a sort of a stepping stone to 4x, and the reason that we've bifurcated the development there is that the challenges associated with the 4x development, there are some, say, thermomechanical engineering challenges that we have, where we have to do things differently in the wafer process flow in terms of materials and processes in order to achieve 4x. So a 2x is a more readily achievable milestone from a technical point of view, and still gets us into additional markets and applications that we currently can't reach with our, call it 1x technology. And the 4x is a little longer development cycle, but still within say a 2-year time frame.
Okay, well, here's my problem. Cymbet's been around for many years. I've looked at your products in the past, and I've been retired a long time. And you're undoubtedly the experts in the field. But I buy into the idea that technology is moving in your favor with lower and lower power sensors. But why, if you're successful with your product offering, and you should be, why do you need to raise money from investors like ourselves if you've had so long to actually make this product do well?
Right. Do you want to handle that, Monty, or should I?
I can start. Dave, thanks for the question. Yes, Cymbet has been around for a long time. There's been a lot of money invested in the process. When we went to high volume manufacturing and our move down to XFAB, we had some issues that we needed to work through. We've worked through all of those issues. I think when we saw the market, and thanks for the point about the markets are moving in our favor, but still by making that 2X and that 4X, that really opens up the market exponentially for us. So I think that's those are the key things. And I think it's just been, quite frankly, it's the investors that we've had, they've been in so long, it's hard to keep their attention to some extent. So that's why we're here in part. Jeff, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I would just say that in the early years, we did actually have to, given that we were pioneers in the development of solid state microbatteries at the wafer level using photolithographic processes and semiconductor type processes with these battery materials. It really was and still is a unique approach to fabricating these devices. And so the development timeline and the costs associated with that, the engineering costs associated with that in the early years was substantially more than we had anticipated. But as Monty said, we've put those, processes and materials and equipment in place at the XFAB facility in Texas. And, now it's a matter, I think, of, advancing the technology to the next level and getting customer traction in these expanding arrays of low power applications.
Thank you.
If I may, a question, Monty, you haven't discussed the competition. Who do you see as your competitor?
Well, there aren't a lot, as Jeff pointed out, there's not a lot of competitors in our particular marketplace. There have been some, they're mostly out of business, or they're using a different process that doesn't allow them to make a battery as small as ours, and frankly, not to get as much energy into our into the size battery that allows these low power sensors to be ubiquitous. Jeff, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think that the track that we've taken is really to focus on the chip scale batteries that are solder reflow tolerant, that allow for integration and miniaturization of modules, system and package system, I won't say system on a chip, but system and package type applications where space is at a premium, where integration is of the power source is critical to the product design, and where the system is operating off of low power. Obviously, our batteries have very low capacity, but it's important. But it's important that those applications be places where space is really at a premium, and/or reliability and safety of the power source is critical. And others that have gone into the market, they've used similar materials and processes, but not manufacturing techniques, and they've focused on somewhat larger batteries that end up being, because of the manufacturing processes that were used by those companies, the cost was nowhere near favorable enough to be feasible for volume markets. So we're really focusing on, in addition to the implantable on-body and in-body medical, we're really acutely focused on high volume markets where the chip scale nature of our battery that lends itself to high volume assembly is really something that brings value to the product and the manufacturing process, the end product manufacturing process.